Hey, Robert here from Absolute Body Systems. This video today is all about exactly how to burn body fat. It's one of the most common questions I get asked, and what I tend to find is that you first of all need to understand how to lose the body fat. There's no point in just going on a diet or an exercise plan if you don't really understand it. So I'm going to try and break it down here on the board for you today, and this pretty much stands for ladies and guys. There's a few different hormonal tweaks that you can change, and like I say, you can tweak to focus on specific parts of the body, but generally speaking, this is the overview of how body fat's burned off. So, let's say if you picture like a fuel gauge in a car. You've got a fuel gauge in a car, okay? So you've got the top and you've got the bottom. You've got it full and you've got it empty, quarter of the way, halfway, three-quarters of the way, and so on. So, you've got three energy tanks in your body, and this is where I'm going to describe it. The first energy tank you've got here, this one is carbs. This is your primary, so this is first. This is your primary energy source. The next one you've got is fats, and this is your second energy source. And then finally you've got a third one, which is the one that you never want to tap into, and this one is muscles. Muscle. And this is your third energy source. So, when you consume anything that's carbohydrate based, this red box here, when you consume anything that's carbohydrate based, that can be potatoes, pasta, rice, quinoa, oats, anything that's fruit based, anything that's sugar based, anything that's starch or sugar based, which is a carbohydrate, tends to go into, or goes into this field here. So this is your primary energy source, and the body will utilise it as glucose and glycogen to form in your liver and your muscles to use as your primary energy source for energy. It's what gets you moving quickly. It's why you see like the likes of tennis players, as an example, having a banana in between sets, because it's a quick surge of energy. Same sort of idea. It's why marathon runners use jelly babies as a quick surge of energy to keep them going. And it's not recommended over a long period of time. So this is your primary energy source. Now what happens is if you consume too many carbs too frequently or in one sitting, you go up to this point here, and this point up here is body fat. This is where you put on excess body fat. So this tank will become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you'll deposit more visceral and more subcutaneous fat within your body. If you keep your carb levels in check, so you don't raise your blood sugar levels too high, and you just let them move up and down rather than spiking up and down all day long, you won't come down here, which means you won't get cravings, because cravings are only caused by your blood sugar levels dropping. So you want to keep them within the right parameters. The problem is that unlike a car, a fuel gauge in a car, you can't see it. So you've got to just keep it within check, and you keep it in check by only using simple carbohydrate sugars at specific times, so i.e. after workouts and such, first thing in the morning now and again. But generally speaking, you want to keep your carbs low GI, and we'll speak about low GI in another video. So once these like the fuel tank in your car, once these carb levels become depleted, so they're here and they're dropping, they're dropping, they're dropping, they're dropping, they're dropping, and then once they get to here, basically what you want to happen then, or what's going to happen then, is your body will then start to use fats, assuming that you're exercising and you're moving. Your body will start to use fats as the next energy source, and this is pretty cool. But you've got to remember, you can't get into the fats until you've depleted this energy store first, right? So you still with me? So you can see why it's important not to overload them. So you don't ever want the tank full, unless you're doing endurance events and such like for sports specific. The problem with the fats is that your body will only ever let you utilise so much within the top of the tank, and it will hold the rest in here. It will hold the rest because your body's main goal, main purpose, main function is survival. It will do whatever it can to survive. So because of that, it will hold onto body fat and say, piss off, you're getting no more, I'm giving you this much, and then that's it. You get no more, and this is the key, this is the trick, this is the secret, this part, so listen carefully. Pause the video if you need to come back to it a few times. Get this. Once you've depleted the carb levels, your primary energy source, you move to your secondary energy source, which is your fat. You deplete these, the body says, no more, I can't give you any more. This is the secret, and this is where everybody goes wrong. Most people will continue to keep exercising and not eating enough carbs, which means that they then move catabolic, and this means muscle wastage. They move into muscle, and they use their muscle tissue, which is their reserve tank. They use this as an energy source to keep them functioning and to keep them moving. And when you start to burn off muscle tissue, your metabolic rate starts to drop. You'll have heard of your metabolism before. Your metabolism is the rate that you burn calories at rest and exercise. So, if you imagine the muscle in your body like the engine of a car, the bigger the engine, the more fuel it's going to burn. The smaller the engine, the less fuel. You want this engine to be as big as possible. And I'm not talking about muscle bulk. I'm talking about extra tons of lean muscle tissue that you can't even necessarily see. By having this and keeping this peak topped up, having the muscle topped up, and increasing lean muscle tissue every single day, you raise your metabolic rate, which gives you a better chance of burning more fat. So it then might allow you to burn this much. And if you add more lean muscle tissue, it'll allow you to burn this much and this much. And it'll always hold on to so much fat. The secret to this is to not go here. The secret is once you get to the bottom of your fat stores, is to come back to where you started, replenish with a small amount of carbohydrates, keep your blood sugars balanced before you start to go back up here and you go through the process again. Then come back and go through the process again. Come back and go through. And that is the way to burn body fat, guys. Carbs are not the enemy, they're not your friend. Fats are not the enemy, they're not your friend. They have specific functions within the body, and as soon as you realise that, you can work out how to actually burn them off. But there's no point in thinking about diet, there's no point in thinking about exercise, rest, recuperation, supplements and all that other shite until you figure this out first. This is very, very, very important. If you get confused in any of this at all, just remember 3 energy tanks. Half to quarter fill your carb levels, then you start to burn the fat. As you're exercising, come back, fill the carb levels, fat, fill the carb levels, fat. Now there's parts where you would want to cycle carbs. You wouldn't want to have carbs every single day and every single meal if your goal was to lose weight. It's slightly different. And again, we speak about this in other videos and other future videos coming up. But I need you to get this model to understand it so as you know the difference between why you're burning body fat and why you're not. I hope this video has helped you. You can check out our transformations at absolutebodysystems.co.uk. Failing that, you can find us on Facebook. And if you're interested in a transformation for yourself or somebody you know, by all means get in touch with us and we can see if we can help you out. Speak to you soon. Bye.